Welcome back. You're listening to the Herbaceous Bounty of Sin City on Vegas, allnetradio.com. We got a lot to fit in the last hour. I was eating peanut butter. I'm sorry. A lot to fit in. Oh, we have left the frugal pest control shirt. Stand up so we can read your shirt. I love fat chicks. I heart fat chicks.
Wait, I want to picture that. So keep going.
Keep going. So we got the last hour. We want to talk about Steve's love for big girls, and we also want to do our catch-ups while we're here. So let's start with Toxie. Toxie, what kind of catch-up do you have for the week? Tell us what you did. Did you have sex?
Actually, I'll be honest.
Did you get pierced?
We didn't.
Wow.
We didn't.
Mr. Toxie, if you don't have sex by Saturday, you're supposed to have sex just so she has something to talk about on the show on Sunday.
That's like having a Ferrari or a Lamborghini in the garage. I mean, take that out for a spin, baby.
It's not that we never do. This week.
I know, it's a bad week.
It didn't happen.
You got life. And
I said tonight. I promise when we get home tonight.
Especially if he buys you McDonald's on the way home, right?
We'll grab some McDonald's. We'll put that right in a bed with us, and it'll be a rockin'. But I I had a super busy week. Spent most of my week sick.
Oh well, that's
then got better. And
Sweet Cheeks got us all sick.
I did
with your cold.
Oh, I did have a cold last week. I'm sorry.
So it's okay.
I was blowing my nose on the show.
It's because Glitz was talking about something that she wants to talk about later, which is dating in Vegas, and it's because we all are swapping spit with everybody else.
That's true. Well, let's talk about that a minute. I didn't mean to cut you off. You got more to tell us?
I do.
Okay, well, tell her. Okay, I'm sorry, but I want to get because you're on a mission to get her on dating.
We can go to that. We'll come back.
Because this is really good. Go ahead, Glitz.
So I did. Yeah, me dating. It's a little scary to me. So I get the Las Vegas Weekly, and I'm browsing through it, and there was an article about dating in Las Vegas and how much it sucks.
Wait, I'm looking at the article. It says, "What's the worst thing about dating in Las Vegas?"
So, and there was a few quotes and a few things, and I thought I'd share with you gals and everyone listening because it now really does scare the bejesus out of me. So, and these are all quotes from the Las Vegas Weekly that they quoted people. They didn't give actually who quoted, but this is my favorite. Las Vegas does not value anything long term. It's a transient city, and it is reflected in the dating scene. Men want it quick, easy, and lots of variety. I know men that date 4 or 5 women at a time and never pick one. They just replace women at will. Okay, so
that's very true, though.
Sounds like plenty of fish.
But it's not just men, is it?
No, I do that. I do that.
And then a few other things that they said was dating in Las Vegas is non-existent. People hook up; they don't date.
That's true too.
And then it said instant gratification is the culture in Las Vegas. If guys or girls can't get what they want from you, then they can get it somewhere else quickly. And I just thought it was interesting. It kind of scared me a little bit more. And then it said dating in Las Vegas sucks because everybody knows everybody. And that is very true, and especially in our BBW community.
In our BBW community, it's the most incestuous group of people. I guarantee that.
And then this last one, and it really made me laugh because this is so me. It said, it's okay. Some people are lucky and find a loyal person in Las Vegas. Then there are those who just keep the douchebags busy while everyone else gets their Prince Charming. And I'm like, there you have it. That's me.
But you don't go out looking for the douchebags. But for those girls who are finding their Prince Charming, they thank you for taking care of the douchebags in town.
So just, I saw this and I read it.
So does that mean you're giving up dating?
No, she's not, because...
Are you putting her... What side have you decided to put her on?
I haven't gotten to any sites this week, but I think I had taken notes from the last time. And I think there was OkCupid and Craigslist. No?
Leave her off POF. Leave her off of POF.
I'm just kidding. There was OkCupid, and there was...
Well, I want to throw it out to I've done a little... internet dating. I hate it. I'll never understand why a woman would post 8 pictures of her face and none of her body. if you are a BBW, there are guys out there that like it, and if you're not a BBW and just post your face, and then the guy who meets you doesn't like it, what do you think's going to happen? So
Yeah, somebody told me when I first posted on POF, I always make sure that I put a body shot on so they know what they're getting before we go
if
out.
there's a website out there where the gals that are like 300 plus are, I can't find them because I can find 250 all day long on Plenty of Fish.
And that's
but
not big enough for you?
how tall are they? If they're 5'1", yeah.
If you're 4'3",
I want to go back to the dating thing real fast.
Perfect.
I forgot because I asked a question last week and for the chat people, and I want to throw this out there again. In the same article, they list some places where you can meet people, which I thought was kind of funny. Most of them. The first one was church. Yeah, hell, no, not going to happen with me. And then there's sporting events like your kids' soccer. Maybe I need to come to your soccer games. Oh, I just had
I
And
love
all you
I
find
love
there
meeting people in
is,
church.
is fathers that want to cheat on their wife.
Why would you? I take it you don't go to
She doesn't
church.
I don't
church.
go to church. It's not that I wouldn't. I don't go to church, so that's not going to happen. But here's what I thought was interesting. They said one of the top 5 places to meet someone is work, and that is just a big
And
turnoff
I
to
think
me.
a lot of companies have
Dating
rules,
policies.
Yeah, against dating.
So
people
I
of
want to
color.
know from the people in chat: have you ever dated anyone at work, and has it ever ended in a positive situation instead of a negative?
I actually know a few couples who met at work, and then one of them decided to quit, so there was no conflict there anymore. And so, but I've dated people from work, and it never works. Not my
I did
experience.
too. I was in purchasing, and he was in receiving, and he got a lot of receiving. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sweet Cheek? You ever dated anybody at work?
Years and years ago, and of course it didn't work.
Right,
So.
Toxie?
I did. It was also years ago, obviously. Otherwise, that would be an awkward conversation right now. But it was years and years ago, and actually, I guess I can't say in the end it worked out, but it did at the time. We were engaged, and we had met at work, and it was. It's not Mr. Toxic.
You know where that works the worst is when you have a woman who has the mentality of a teenage girl or a guy who has no self-esteem. So when there's a breakup, if there's a breakup, which usually will happen if you have those personalities anyway, then there's that whole stalker thing, and then there's the woman who's jealous if the guy is talking to another coworker thing, and it just can get really messy.
Well, this one was good because I was actually his superior, but we worked at a hotel, so we go in the empty rooms in the middle of the day. And
I used to work in a hotel myself, and I one time had I had a really great boss where we would all go drinking. Surprise, surprise. And he would let us come back, and then we'd all crash at the hotel. And so one day, it was just him and I this time. It was normally, a few more. And this time it was just him and I. And so we went in a room, and it had 2 beds. And I'll never forget, I'm laying in there, and it's nice and dark. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, what would you do if I climbed into bed with you?" I'm like, "I'd kick your ass right out." And that was it.
My mom met her.
Yeah, he was taking the
My mom
shot.
met her boyfriend
tried?
or fiance
You
at
tried it?
work. They've been together 15 years.
oh,
He of course quit, or stopped working there, after like 4 years, I guess, because there were times when they got a little hairy. I mean, he would get jealous, and she would get jealous, and my mom's 60 something.
and your mom's hot.
She's
60.
adorable, yeah.
She is
I
very
saw
cute.
a picture of her because she's very
She's
cute.
very
Yeah,
cute.
she's
And
adorable.
she's all dressed to the nines. She's a
Well,
sassy little thing.
I love my mom.
I
I
want to
think
take her out
that,
drinking.
I asked somebody who is in the BBW community forever, and I said, where's the supersized girls at? And she says, there's just not as many, Steve, as the
Is that
surgery.
because of weight loss surgery?
This frickin' sleeve is just ruining my life,
But it is helping so many. So
Well,
sorry for you. Yay for them.
I will say that it's definitely a difficult situation to be in, to know that this thing that you love so much, a physical attribute, is really affecting the health of your spouse, and that is something that I have wrestled with and thought a lot about for a long time. It's I was recently, believe it or not, put in a situation like that, and I encouraged the person that I was with to have the surgery because I felt like that was the best thing for her. Not really knowing, I mean, not really knowing goes, and anybody that thinks that that's the reason we split up doesn't really know. So that's not. But.
So in chat we have Invictus, and he says, "I dated a woman at work once, only once. It ended very badly, and I guess his ex stalked him at work after. So, and then Superman says, the wife and I have worked together before. We make a great team. But that's you were married before you worked together, right? So that's a little bit different because you both have the same goals. At work, you're both either doing different things or you're part of a team or something like that. And then that's where problems can start. So
now,
thank you for that.
Didn't your friend and you, Steve, used to say that girls that had the surgery had an expiration date because they were only going to be like fuckable for so long because they would lose too much weight?
Well, the surgery has changed over the years, and
True.
But that was his term.
Okay.
And I don't want to sound superficial or callous. I mean, I can think of the number of women that I know that come to the bash that have passed away. A lot of them had the surgery and passed away from complications. So, if you love fat women as much as I do, this is something that I think about and struggle with on a daily basis. I've never wanted, I've encouraged women I'm with not to lose weight, but I've never really tried to purposely put weight on anybody. But
I had the surgery.
I know you
Maybe
did.
I'll talk about it sometime. But I had the surgery many years ago, and I had a friend whose sister had it shortly after I did, and she had a small child, and she died. She died. She had internal bleeding that they didn't catch, and
No, that's
every year for his birthday, my friend, they throw a big celebration for him, but this little baby hasn't.
Right.
never
Well,
knew
it's
his mom.
how it changed me was I appreciate what I like even more, because I've learned that through a woman's life, her weight is liable to change. Especially, how many SSBBW 70-year-olds do you see? I mean,
I say now, being a fat chick is really cool until you get old.
right. So it's
Because my body's wear and tear, absolutely.
it's hard. So I think some of the younger guys that really like the really big girls haven't been around long enough to see what I've seen. So it affects me, and I struggle with it. 'Cause it's hard. I mean, you don't want, when you see what that, when you're talking to someone that's over 400 pounds, you see the struggle every day. It's hard. It's hard. And then you think, for my jollies, you're going to stay big. I mean, how do you say that to somebody? You can't. Not if you love them. So.
My Steve is growing up.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Invictus said his ex-wife had the surgery, and she started losing weight and went nuts.
Went nuts. Well, let me tell you something about losing weight. About 4 years ago.
I want to know first what nuts means.
Yeah.
Well, it says to this day she still thinks it's because she lost weight.
That they broke up because she lost weight. But I want to know what went nuts mean, because when I usually say a woman went nuts, it usually means that she just got her freedom, or she's thinking of herself in a new way, so now she is
No, let me tell you something about a woman who has been very big. About 5 years ago, I lost 150 pounds in a year. And I was still a big girl because I weighed 400 pounds. But the thing that happened to me is I felt so less attractive than I did 150 pounds heavier. So I think what happens to women, and I don't know if that's because I was really engrossed in the BBW world, but I didn't, I felt like I was saggy. I felt like I was not as attractive. I felt like, I didn't have a place in the community. I wasn't a fat girl anymore. I wasn't a supersized girl, but I wasn't a small girl. And I didn't feel good about getting naked because my body was saggy. I don't know if subconsciously that's why I put a lot of the weight back on, or if I felt that way because I was engrossed in the community. But I think a lot of the weight loss thing is if you've been heavy your whole life, people don't know where to go, where that fits in. And I think depression sets in a lot in that situation.
Well, the other thing that happens with the surgery is right off the get-go, you're basically starving. And what happens is over time, your stomach stretches and you're able to eat more. So your level of starvation slows down. But you are literally, it's all you can do to just get enough food in to survive. I mean, you're starving. And, your hair falls out and, things happen. And, whether or not that changes a personality.
It puts you in depression is what it does.
Well, it's and from the surgeon's point of view, when he sees a large person, he just sees dollar signs.
Right.
But the sleeve is definitely safer than the previous surgeries. It's seems to be a better.
It's not reversible though.
It's not reversible.
Well, I like as I've known friends that have had them, and the band, they're not removing any body parts. So if you have the band and everything else, they're removing and redoing. So the band,
a lot of complications with the band with it
slips.
Yeah, it slips. Yeah.
So it's a very personal decision, and the other thing is some women's body can tolerate the way Sweet Cheeks, I know how old you are. Imagine that. You seem to.
You're older.
You seem to be able to handle it better than someone else might be able to.
I'm pretty healthy. My problem is just my joints. I've got arthritis.
Right. And some of it has to do. If you're more pear-shaped, it's easier on your. If you're more carrying most of your weight around your tummy, it's harder on your organs. Where if you've got big hips and thighs, God bless you, and
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit. About 3 years ago, I lost close to 100 pounds, and I have in the last year put it all back on. And now, like what you were saying, where you felt when you lost the weight less desirable, I didn't have that because I've always been active.
Right.
So when I lost my weight, I toned very well.
Right.
I have joined the gym again. And I'm on my mission again. But this is what has, I wouldn't say it's depression, but what has brought to my attention since I've gained the weight back is when I was heavier before, I never realized the things that I couldn't do. I mean, I realized the things that I don't know how I'm not. And then I lost the weight, and there was so much that I could do. Like going up and down my stairs, and I love to dance, and I could dance all night. And now since I've put the weight back on, my body feels it, and I turned 40 this year.
Right.
So it goes to what you were saying earlier too, and I totally agree. As you get older, you notice those things, and it's harder on your body. So I'm back at the gym not because I strive to be a size 10 or 12 or 2 or whatever. Is that I need to do what's best for me right now.
Absolutely.
Getting older, I know it's only going to get harder.
Right.
So I need to keep it up, but it does. I wouldn't say depressed, I don't know the word I'm looking for, that, oh my God, I could do all this stuff 3 years ago, and now I'm struggling with it again. So
I go through that every day because I have a really bad knee. In fact, I'm going to the doctor Friday. My Obamacare kicked in. Well, and I had a stroke a couple of weeks ago. So I guess
when you said, I'm healthy, I'm like, well,
even 30 minutes after I had the stroke, they took all my blood counts, all my heart rates, everything was perfect.
Did you really have like a stroke?
I had a mini stroke, they called it.
Okay,
exactly.
Well,
that's what they said it was. But anyway, yeah, you know what? It's tough. Sometimes it's tough. I can't, I maybe can only mop one floor in a day and two, and because I have a bad knee. And I know when I go in, they're going to say, "Oh, we'll love to take care of that knee, but you need to lose 100 pounds first before we do surgery." So I got to see what they say and make decision from there. But I like being a fat girl.
I do too.
I know, and I guess I don't want to be in a situation that I have to make that decision. But
I like being a fat girl, but I like being able to do what I want to do. I want to be able to dance, and I'll be honest, I had fucking gout. Who gets gout? I'm like, that's not gout. No, but that has to go with a lot. I need to change some of my eating habits because of the sodium.
But a lot of that's hereditary. Mr. Toxie has gout. And he has since he was younger, and many members of his family, including very thin members of his family, have it as well. So it's very highly hereditary.
I'm not supposed to be having uric acid if I drink this Diet Pepsi. But anyway, or not uric acid. What's it called? I said that wrong. I'm probably laughing, but anyway, moving on.
Uric acid.
Well, I know that you wanted to discuss dating.
Well, it's funny. I guess a lot of things in life are like this. When I was with somebody, I thought that there was like a zillion people to date, and now that I'm sort of kind of single, it's like, it's not quite, as many as I thought, but I haven't looked real hard purposely.
But I mean, okay, I'm just gonna put this on the table, Steve.
Go for it, girl.
I mean, just as much as we're talking about it's getting harder to date as you get older. I mean, you're not,
I know.
Spring, and a lot of the BBWs here in town are, in their early 20s. I mean, so do you think that's part of the problem?
No, I'm plenty of fish. I dated a couple gals close to my age. So.
His problem is he doesn't think he can find people to date of the size that he wants.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding.
He wants them between 350 and 400.
No, I don't.
Very specific.
I try. My kind of rule is, if you need a seatbelt extender on the plane, that's about perfect.
But since I've known you for a long time, I have always found this very amusing about you, is that you want a woman of that specification, but you are so freaking anal and picky about what you eat and about...
he says I like high-fat women and low-fat food.
So you get no time. So it just kind of cracks me up. Like, he's like, I'm on a diet, I gotta go to the gym, but then he's like, I need a woman who's...
Well, here's the thing, okay? And you can probably relate to this, okay? Obviously, I like BBWs into the SS BBWs, okay?
Yes.
If I was 30 pounds heavier, it would be, might take missionary off the table, and I just won't let that happen. So
trust me, I've known enough that it
we
won't.
have that conversation when Ron was on the show. I said 2 fatties doing it.
Right. My body doesn't handle weight well. I've had high blood pressure in my family. I know I've weighed pretty much the same for since I was
when him and I met,
20s.
He was a lot bigger than
that was a little heavier.
30 pounds more.
No, not that much.
Not that much, really.
15.
Okay. I know
but he always kills me right before bash time. I'm on a diet. I gotta lose 30 pounds before bash.
Well,
that's gonna make a difference in how many girls he can pick up, right?
It's not gonna make a difference at all.
I'm from what I'm hearing, because I'm just listening right now. So what I'm hearing, it's all about he wants enough stamina to go through the winter.
Okay.
So it's sort of like getting in shape, kind of, for the bash.
I think
you're working out your penis.
You do penis ups?
You're prepping.
I got that wired.
I've had that sex where you're sweating, but it's like an exercise regime when you're having that kind of great sex, right? And you're using all kinds of muscles. You're using stomach muscles and gluteal muscles and thigh muscles and...
I know this is going to sound stupid.
Finger muscles?
My favorite muscles. Tongue, which helps the
tongue muscles. Right?
I can tell if I'm like 10 pounds heavier. I can tell that I can makes doing what I makes missionary a little more difficult. So I just try to weigh the same. It's hard. God, I got a sweet tooth like crazy.
High fat women and low fat food.
But
I just thought I'd point that out because I've always found it amusing.
It's amusing.
And I don't think I'm thin by any means.
No, but you're very crazy about what you put in your mouth.
Yeah, no cock. Put no cock anywhere near my mouth.
He is very disappointed in that.
Toxie likes male on male.
I do.
Porn.
Really?
So Invictus answered me about what lost her mind meant, or went nuts, and he said she way overcompensated on the self-confidence. Suddenly nothing was good enough, including him.
Wow.
Well,
She went the other way.
Here's what I like to say. Let's say George Clooney. No, who's married?
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. And let's not go crazy with a 200-pound difference. Let's say Catherine Zeta-Jones gained 100 pounds, or anybody with what society considers a trophy wife puts on 100 pounds. It's going to make a difference, in a relationship for sure. Okay, and so a dramatic weight loss is similar. It makes, it.
You're attracted to what you're attracted to.
Right. And it definitely changed me.
Well, here's
changed me.
a question that you asked earlier about if a guy approached and said, "Hey, I really like fat arms," and you have fat arms, and I didn't answer that. If someone approached me, okay, for instance, when we went to get the Diet Pepsi and the Snicker bar, you were rubbing on my muffin top. You're like, oh, like the muffin top.
Well, you know why? Because you said I'm going on a diet, so I thought
I did not say that. I said I'm back at the gym.
Well, first off, Tammy, hold on for a second. Just give the disclaimer that you and I have known each other forever, and it's not like I'm just groping
not a
you.
creeper.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you
and I
but
have-
in this situation.
We have known each other, and
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No, wait, was that, what are those air quotes?
Yeah.
Air quotes.
Right.
No.
No.
Now we need
Which,
to
hey,
know.
you're my proof that there's more than chocolate in my life.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, anyway,
That means that 2 out of the 4 of us have known him in the biblical sense.
no.
You got 2 left.
Well, I'm working it, baby. Oxy is like, I'm
I was
working
young and
that.
naive. I'm just kidding. So here's if someone approached me and did anything like that to me, my first thought would be, you don't like me to like, you have a fetish, so I'm not going to date you
Right.
because I'm a fetish. You don't like me for me.
Well, we need to talk about the difference of the whole fetish thing.
Yeah, but, it's...
We got to take a break, though.
Okay.
You hear the music? Got to take a break.
I do.
You've been listening to the award-winning Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City. We have about 30 minutes left. Don't go away.